we've always talked about how, me and Jacob's lives, it's not that interesting. Every podcast, you got the banter section. You want to introduce yourself, talk about the dumb shit your kids do. That's what all the podcasts I listen to do. But
we don't have kids.
It's not that our lives are boring. We actually do so much crazy stuff.
We're pretty wild.
We're so invested in making sure that we don't get parasocial with our fans, that they don't want to, find out where we live, even though Jacob is close to doxing me in like every other episode. So that's, we're just about the Disney Channel original movies. I'm Lucas Melby. This is a whole new pod.
And I'm Jacob Telejohn.
And you don't need to know anything more. And you might be like, hey, you've told some somewhat entertaining stories about your past before. So it's maybe like you actually used up all your stories. But no, that's not true.
Uh-oh.
We just don't want you to get parasocial with us. That's all it is.
We don't want to build that connection. And
here is where I'll fill in with some relatable stuff. Hey, it's hot.
It is very hot. We've had heat indexes of over like 105 the last few days. It's been storming pretty gnarly a couple days.
We had one big storm. I think primarily, no offense to the Brazil listeners or the Australian listeners that we seem to maybe have. Most of our listeners seem to be based in the United States, and just about the whole country's been on fire this week. Even old Minnesota. And with that in mind, we're going to try to keep this episode short because, of course, we're in the un-air-conditioned still room.
Well, at least when we got in here, it was still, kind of cool, but it might, like you said, it might get a little toasty.
Especially with the movie we're talking about today. We'll get fired up.
Oh, my goodness.
In more ways than one. But also, to apparently draw it out a little bit more, there's all this talk about, like, the writer's strike and the actor's strike. And apparently there's something out there with, like, influencers where they said, like, hey, solidarity with the strike. Don't talk about movies and stuff. And it's like, well, I don't really think we're influencers. I don't think we've really reached that status. And you know what? I don't want to delay. I want to get through all the DCOMs
just wants to get everything done.
Year.
Yeah, we're doing them a service, so we're not going to be talking about them anymore after.
With the writer's strike, there's a good likelihood that the most recently released DCOM, I think called The Slumber Party, which just aired like last night or something when we're recording this, that might be the last one of 2023, so it still looks like a good slate for us to finish out the year with all the DCOMs. But I will put out one thing. Zendaya, if you're listening, and it's a way for us to get that interview that, we put in the ball's in your court. It's been there for a while, but if we need to not talk about Disney Channel original movies anymore, hey, Dune Part 2 was going to get pushed back or something, and you want to spread word about the strike or whatever, we're open. We'll only talk about Good Burger. That doesn't fall under the umbrella of being written or acted by anybody.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. How may I take your order?
One Descendants 3, please. And punch me in the balls. All right, yes, I don't know. That's the segue to Descendants 3. We are reaching the end of the Descendants franchise, probably.
Are you sad?
No. I was really dreading this, actually, but I think we both came out, and not just because it's the shortest Descendants movie, which is still plenty long, that I think we like this one the best.
It was actually better. Yeah.
It falls into the Cheetah Girls one world of the third one being the charm, which doesn't happen too much with a lot of these movies. Yeah, I think Descendants 3. All right, we're done? No. Descendants 3, it's very important that it starts off with a recap from our main character, Mal, because there's so much heavy plot in both of the Descendants movies. They're almost 2 hours with good reason. No, I don't even really know what Mal says, but essentially, blah, blah, blah. She's girlfriend with Ben, son of Beast and Belle, future king of Auradon, which is the place of the good people, not to be distinguished.
The Isle of the Lost.
The Isle of the Lost, where all of the the villains live.
It's a slum. The people are very dirty there always.
And you might remember that the end of the last movie, well, technically it ended with Uma looking to the camera and saying,
swirling her hands in the water.
Made you look, Quince?
Yeah, it's Quince.
Drizzy had the daughter of Drusilla, who is the
Drizzy's that little girl with crazy hair that cuts hair.
Guess what? She doesn't matter in this movie.
She's in it, but she does nothing. She sleeps a lot.
So they made a big special thing of her getting a summons
pardon,
to be able to go to Oradon.
Yeah.
That's not canon. This movie opens up with them selecting 4 new kids because our main V kids is the nomenclature they use in this for villain kids.
Smoochie and Poochie are a couple of them.
Well, the originals are, of course, Mal, daughter of Maleficent.
Yep.
And we might find out who her daddy is.
Ooh.
Jay, son of Jafar. Carlos, son of Cruella de Vil. And Evie, daughter of Evil Queen.
You got the EE, you got the JJ.
We don't need to do this. Because, don't worry, there'll be people that it doesn't apply to.
Fairy godmother Jane.
Yeah, with Jane, we had Lonnie, daughter of Mulan. So the new 4 they select, they already Drusilla was kind of a deep cut, but then...
Deeper cuts. Shmi is maybe the most well-known one.
Well, and this is funny, I can't remember if I said this in the episode or just when we were watching the movie, that in the last movie we have Uma, daughter of Ursula. She has her whole pirate crew that includes Harry Hook, son of Captain Hook. He's a pirate, that makes sense. And then we had Gil, son of Gaston... Not a pirate. And kind of acts in a way that I was like, why wouldn't they just have Mr. Smee? But then I was like, well, they don't want to put it into mind. They already made us think that Dopey fucks, as well as all of the 7 dwarves potentially. But now we get to learn that Mr. Smee also fucks and has
maybe it's
twins.
Several times. Oh yeah, twins.
Yeah, I think they're twins.
Yeah, but they're goofy looking in the way that they actually just look like little adults. They have like
they look like they're wearing Mr. Smee costumes.
Yeah, it's very silly. Yeah, so you have those 2 twins. You have
their names are Squeaky and Squirmy. They're even less important than Drizzy. And then lastly, Celia, who has
the biggest pride role of those 4 kids.
But who is also probably the least recognizable because she is the daughter of Dr. Facilier, who was the villain in Princess and the Frog, which of course would be the most recent 2D animated Disney movie, but ultimately wasn't like a super breakout success for Disney. And I think the movie's fine. I saw it once, but it's not like, a top tier Disney movie in my mind.
Yeah.
And like all Descendants movies, we start out with a very like villain centric song. So all of our villains are showing up to the island to pick the new kids, and they're singing a song called Good to Be Bad.
This is a song that was probably within 3 minutes again, like we get like you said, the last movies. It's just straight on into it. They're not hiding that it's a musical, never have.
And of the intro songs, this might be the best one because I definitely felt the other movies hit me hard with possibly some of the worst techno I've ever heard, where this oddly seems very inspired by Cardi B's Bodak Yellow.
There were a number of different genres too in this movie. They weren't all just like weird dubstep.
They've had that in the other ones.
Weird dubstep ones. We didn't get any of that. We're past that 2016.
We have a callback to Rotten to the Core, but thankfully we did not need to listen to
the whole one. Yeah,
and they're in the slums, but unlike in some of the last movies, all the villains around them they love Oradon.
They're very happy.
They want to go there.
They're very happy.
And they pick these 4 kids, but then we cut back to Oradon. It seemed more focused on wanting to set up the plot and have the opening song, but then still do like more plot. It's just this movie, not the most well paced, structured, yes. It's no Oppenheimer.
No.
Barbenheimer. So Mal, though, is on high alert in Oradon using the most magical of technology, binoculars, to look out to the sea looking for any of Uma's tentacles. Because while they told Uma to go back to the Land of the Lost in the last movie, the Isle of the Lost, she didn't. And
she was just out in the middle of the ocean, just kind of swirling her hands menacingly, and we find out that she's just trying to find a hole in between how to escape, because it does have that big kind of shield, force field kind of around.
I haven't heard about this. The barrier?
The barrier.
I haven't heard about this.
Well, she's trying to find the hole. That's what she's doing. Trying to find a hole.
Well, Ben says, "Hey, chill out. And will you marry me?" And I'm like, hasn't he like already proposed to her like in every single movie?
Yeah, but now she says yes.
Again,
it's gonna be a real deal. Gives her a pretty ring. Everybody's clapping and applauding. They're all so happy.
Audrey.
She's pissed.
Daughter of Well, in this movie, I think they mostly say Sleeping Beauty, but technically Sleeping Beauty's name is Aurora, but nobody seems to know
Borealis. And so, yes, they were dating in the first one.
Yeah, she kind of,
sort of.
or maybe it was, maybe more of
Maybe
like
it
an
was more
arranged
her.
relationship
Oh,
or
okay.
arranged marriage, or just assumed that she would ascend the throne,
Yeah.
but now it's going to be Mal, and she's pissed about it.
pissed.
So let's cut back to those new villain kids. Why did we cut away from them? Who knows? But now they're ready to go, and they use the
See some Shmee. We see Shmee, hugging his
I don't know
chilling.
what this Shmee thing is. His name's Smee.
Shmee.
I guess
Shmee.
maybe Captain Hook says it that way.
Last name
Because
Shmee.
Captain Hook has a speech impediment.
Well, there we go.
But Mal is picking them up in her own magic limousine that's all purple.
It says Mal on it. Just drive that
license
home.
plate.
Yes.
Because it's also very cool and magical for Auradon to have vehicles and license plates.
But like the last,
and also
limo.
a big Jumbotron on the castle
Yeah,
wall.
that's new. They got rid of the beast statue too, and they put up a was it Ben or was it the?
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
And they use a special garage door opener to open and close the barrier.
Yeah.
So they're like walking through the barrier to get to the car on the other side, and they're bringing all
And
the
then they
kids.
go down the junky alleyway. The famous alleyway.
Jacob, stop. As the barrier is about to close, oh shit, who is this? It's Hades.
It's Hades. All of a sudden, he just starts shooting he starts attacking Mal.
So
or
I
everybody.
knew Hades was going to be in this because I, looked up stuff.
It
about the
does.
movie
It comes
ahead
out of
time.
nowhere.
But yeah, it just feels so weird for them to be like, oh shit, it's Hades. He just starts shooting and stuff.
Yeah, he
fire at
shoots.
them.
He shoots everybody down except Mal, who turns into the dragon, and they start having like a magic off, and she is able to somehow repel him with a.
But then he starts seeming to drain her powers.
Yeah, magic.
And Hades, as seems to be the overwhelming villain aesthetic in this, is not necessarily a dirt biker, but just a biker. He has a denim vest on that says Soul Stealer, or Stealer of Souls, or something on the back. He has not a flaming head of hair. He just has spiked up blue hair.
It does kind of flame though at times
when he uses his magic.
Yeah,
which he can only use his magic here as he gets outside
his hand
of the barrier.
is outside of the barrier.
Because I don't remember if it had been established or not, but it's not the only time the Descendants movies
magic
brings up rules. But yeah, no magic, evil magic works inside of the barrier.
Yes.
But then they they push him back in, and they're like, all right, see
bye.
ya.
Yeah, but everybody's freaking out, back in Auradon.
Yeah, I mean, if Hades, an actual god, just appears and says, hey, fuck you guys!
Fairy godmother says bippity boppity, get the fuck out of here. She's freaking out.
Audrey has kind of lots of rap or hip hop references. So this song gave me lots of Stan by Eminem, where she sings Queen of Mean.
This one sounded good too. There's
Where
another one I like.
Essentially, her jealousy is so strong that now she's going to become a bad guy because apparently it was enough for her to be good. She actually needed to be bad, and that's why Ben likes Mal.
Yeah.
And then she goes to the Museum of Magic Artifacts from the first movie.
Nothing is protected or really locked down.
Well, and it's done in a weird way where it reminded me of the Black Lodge from Twin Peaks, where in the background there's always just red curtains. So it's one of those things where potentially it's like, is this, as Jacob would say, a dream sequence where she's just imagining these things? But nope, she just breaks in, smashes a glass thing. I believe she takes the evil queen's crown as well as Maleficent's staff.
Staff and a couple other things. I don't know.
I think those are the two main ones.
You see the cauldron obviously in the background, and a couple.
Of course, the cauldron,
the black cauldron.
I believe it's also the evil queen cauldron.
Yes.
Beauty and the Beast, Snow White.
Jesus Christ.
The Oridonians who were watching a live feed of the new villain
on the Jumbotron.
They're afraid of Hades, and Mal says, well, shit, we just need to close the barrier forever. And Ben's like, wait, I'm not necessarily cool with that. And Mal's like, no, fuck the villains.
Because it was Ben's big dream to everybody just be happy and to, reunite or, unite.
And Mal is always just like, no, they're meant to be there.
Yeah, well, the Papa Beast kind of puts her on the, puts her in charge here.
He doesn't have a name. It's just Beast.
Beast asks her, right, what she wants to do or what her call is. Then she says,
fuck him.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Lock him up.
Ben's like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then Mal goes to tell Evie, but she doesn't really say that she wants to, or maybe she does here, but Evie's like, hey, this was 2019. We're a few years into the Trump presidency. Lots of talk about the U.S.'s borders. They're finally kind of getting into the fucked up politics of the Descendants movies, where it's like, why do these people just deserve to stay on this island forever? And Evie's very much like, we gotta tear the wall down. And Mal's like, I think we need to build it tall. Fuck them. So kind of ham-fisted, but I would appreciated that finally people are kind of reckoning with the fucked up situation that exists in this dumb world. Audrey just shows up out of magic smoke, I think, and she's got the crown and the staff, and she turns Mal into an old hag.
An old hag who's really slow.
Very reminiscent of the way the evil queen looks in disguise in Snow White.
Yeah.
And yes, she moves very slow because she's old. And they're like, oh, a curse from the staff can never be broken except by Hades' ember. And it's like, okay, movie, sure, let's just establish these rules and things that everybody knows that Hades has an ember, a special little jewel.
Yeah, this little controls everything. I mean, I guess that's maybe how he was able to almost take down Mal.
We maybe haven't highlighted this enough. Audrey is the villain of this movie.
Yeah.
She is going 0 to 60 villain. And I liked that.
They make us kind of think it's Hades for a bit there, but not really. And so Hades and Mal are not, or Hades and Audrey are not working together ever.
No, I don't think there's any hint that it's Hades.
Well, I mean,
Audrey just shows up and is like, ha 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 ha.
Well, no, I was just saying when Hades tries to drain Mal's energy from earlier.
Well, yeah, but I mean, with this movie, you were like, do you think he comes back once we see him a little bit again later? And I was like,
maybe.
Yeah, but then I'm like, wait a second. This movie apparently casted Whoopi Goldberg as Ursula, who we never even saw on screen, and we never see any of the other parents, the villain parents, again. So I'm like, you know what? I won't put it past this movie just completely forgetting about this character.
Odd.
But I liked, for once, I think this movie is the first one that actually has not a strong villain, but a decent villain in Audrey. And for somebody to break bad, have a good person
we see a lot of, kind of looking into, like a magic ball kind of thing throughout the movie from her. And she has a good laugh, know. Well, she's always looking at, kind of like the witch from
You're saying
the
that's
Wizard
a classic
of Oz.
Villain thing.
Yes, just to kind of peer in on what people are doing.
All right. So then they always dress like dirt bikers, but they actually ride dirt bikes.
Yes, and Mal is still ancient as ever, and she casts whatever spells, and
her eyes light up green, and they get to the aisle where then she turns back to her normal self.
Because evil magic doesn't work there, Lucas.
Sure. And then it doesn't ever seem to come back.
She never's old again.
I guess, it's just the curse wears off then.
Yeah,
it doesn't reappear. So that was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
So then they go to Dr. Facilier's hideout because I believe Cilia, his daughter, is picking up a skeleton key.
Yes.
And I believe...
To break into Hades'
hangout.
Yeah.
His mine.
The
underworld, I guess. And Dr. Facilier, I believe, is voiced by Keith David in Princess and the Frog. So whoever they got for this, he doesn't know what he's doing for his accent or whatever. Pretty severe downgrade.
Yeah.
Doesn't get a song either, but he's got it's kind of like Ursula's bed and breakfast or whatever we got in the last movie. He's just got a place to hang out.
It's a Voodoo Arcade or something. It was an arcade.
A Voodoo Arcade.
Yeah, but we do see Carlos insert some kind of coin token into a TV. And then this is when we kind of see...
that was a weird contrivance.
And then
you get free TV there.
Everything's, you got to pay to play. But we see a news report that there was a sleep cloud that's going all over, Oregon and knocking everybody out.
Yeah, I think I don't have it in my notes. Jane, daughter of fairy godmother,
was having a birthday party.
Girlfriend of Carlos. It's her birthday.
It's my birthday.
That's
inside
not a
joke.
thing.
Inside joke.
Yeah, you can look up El Bomber or Fat Tomato on YouTube. You can maybe find that. But that is, I can't even explain that. Right but Jane is having a birthday, and she's like, "Where's Carlos?" Because he's on the Isle of the Lost. And then Audrey just crashes it and turns everybody...
Except Chad, who's like, "I can be your loyal servant."
Chad Charming, son of probably Cinderella? I don't know.
Sure.
At least
he's
Prince
really kind of just goofy. He's a really...
And I thought this was finally going to be Chad's time because he becomes like her lackey. I'm like, yes, his name's fucking Chad Charming. He should have been a villain already.
True.
Here he can be, the number 2 to Audrey.
But he doesn't really... No. He's basically locked up in a room for half the movie.
He's as much of a joke character as he's been in all of the movies.
But Fairy Godmother's daughter, Jane, hides in the
Enchanted
Lake.
Which is a set from... It's where Mal and Ben go on their first date in the first movie. And she learns that the smoke that's making everybody sleepy.
The water for what, you gotta avoid the smoke.
Sure. And that's important because she'll come back and do just about nothing in this movie.
She does inform everybody, though, that Audrey is the evil one, I think, at this point. That she's the one that's casting all the...
Well, I don't know who she's saying it to because everybody's sleeping.
She calls somebody.
By the way, Drizzy and the Smee twins...
They're knocked out,
They had been told to stay behind for some reason, and now they're just going to be asleep most of the movie.
They're out of the picture.
Pretty cool. Oh, yeah, by the way, Harry Hook, he shows up and steals their dirt bikes.
Yeah, well, him and his goons, there's like 5 of them in there. So they stole them all.
So then everybody but Mal and Celia is told to, hey, go get our dirt bikes back.
Yeah.
They go to Hades' lair. It says, get out. Of course, a reference to a much better movie. And they use the key to break inside, which actually I'm wondering if it's just supposed to be a skeleton key or if it's specifically... because it's
for that lock.
Because there is a kind of... It's kind of a style or iconography of the key that's similar to some of like Hades' stuff in Hercules.
Yeah.
He gives like baby Hercules some kind of like skeleton sucker thing or whatever. And it kind of reminds me of that now that I'm thinking of it.
Well, maybe.
Also a much better movie than this.
Animated Hercules?
No, the one starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, gross. I thought you were going to say maybe like the 1950s one or 60s one.
There's been a lot of Hercules movies.
I think Arnold Schwarzenegger played Hercules.
Was that Hercules in New York, though?
Yes.
So they sneak into Hades' lair. There's a little bit where they think they're going to run into Cerberus, but it's actually just a
record. Yes. So you hear this dog, and she's like, you just got to be careful. It echoes in here, and it's just a recording of a dog barking on a record player,
and it starts to skip, and then it gets really annoying. Eventually, Celia lifts the needle off of it.
But this wakes.
Yeah, because they had found Hades, but he's sleeping with sunglasses on.
But they kind of set it up like that maybe he didn't see Mal sneaking around behind him, and so she goes to grab the ember, but then he grabs her arm.
Which is just like sitting on, he's like laying out on a couch or something.
Yeah, he's just relaxing, just vegging.
In this mine, and there's just the smallest little gem thing.
Yeah. So she grabs it.
End table.
And then he's like, hey, daughter, she says, hey, dad, or I don't know,
and Jacob went, oh, I know who that is.
So Hades and Maleficent boned to create a Mal.
Which is somewhat fitting if you think about one of the other prominent Disney mashups, which is, of course, House of the Mouse. No. The Kingdom Hearts series, where really Maleficent and Hades are the 2 most prominent Disney villains in the entire franchise. Yeah. Jacob obviously knows this. And if, the real diehards that have been wondering whatever happened to Sergeant Telejohn's Lonely Hearts Club.
Well, now you got to start asking me about Final Fantasy X.
Kingdom Hearts Club. He didn't play anymore.
Final Fantasy X's the new GOAT.
Yeah, Jacob is being challenged by being asked to read and know how mechanics work in Final Fantasy X.
Yes.
He really wanted to know who the Destiny Island dwellers were, so he had to go back to the source. Hades and, for some reason, this time I really wanted to call Mal Dove every single time.
Dove Cameron.
That's the actress's name.
Dove Cameron.
They have a duet together.
Is that why you're writing her name in your notes?
I had to stop myself from writing Dove a lot of times for some reason. They sang a duet sort of kind of combative song called Do What You Gotta Do.
They kind of push
we
each other around.
We settled on it maybe sounding kind of country or rockish.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I thought it was another good song.
I think the way I would land on it is it's like a rock song, but as filtered through like a musical, a Broadway musical kind of thing. That's the best I got. I'm never good at categorizing these songs. But yeah, they're kind of bumping butts.
Yeah, a lot of butt bumping,
He makes like smoke machine go off behind them. It's okay.
He gives her the ember,
but he says, it's only going to do half of what it does for me because you're only half Hades.
That's true.
Which only half really matters for the movie. Meanwhile, Audrey, I thought, turned everybody in Auradon to stone, but only like
half are sleeping.
Godmother. Yeah. And also we'll find out Hannah was turned to stone. Hannah, a character I don't know if has ever been established. Maybe she won like some like fan contest to be like in Descendants 3.
Oh, there you go.
Like, here we made a statue of Hannah. She also popped up behind Ben in his office, and weird. I thought she did turn him to stone or turn him to sleep. We'll find out she turned him into like beast form.
Yes, because we do see some claw marks, on some walls.
Which doesn't really make sense unless it's just that she used her magic to turn him to a beast. But there's not like anything underlying that there should be like beast genes in him, because the beast was cursed. He broke that curse.
Yes.
But he did not break the curse of getting an actual name. In these, he's just beast still. But Ben shouldn't have anything like that going on. We get another fake out where they're trying to leave Auradon, even though they don't have their dirt bikes. And as the portal's closing or whatever again, here comes that old fucker, Harry Hook. Hey, governor, in it. And he knocks, I think, the
ember
into the water.
But it's caught by Uma.
Yes. And
she's been hiding in the
yeah, she never went back to the
ocean
island
this whole time, looking for that way out, man.
She's still in her kind of semi-giant form, but then she does a
tornado thing, and so now she's human size.
She just wants to let the villains free, and I'm like, Mal is still kind of the main villain of a lot of these movies.
Wants to keep him locked up, man.
Fucking over the island.
Yeah.
And they kind of...
Despite coming from there herself.
Yeah, she's saying fuck him. She
once she got out, once she was free, she could care less about anybody else there.
Absolutely. Classic, rise into the 1%. You just say fuck them.
Fuck them.
So they kind of, all of them, they strike an alliance together, being like, hey, we got to deal with, I think maybe Mal says like, hey, we deal with Audrey. We're going to still keep taking 4 kids at a time to come to Auradon. And that, our lie detector test said, that was a lie.
Yes. Mal.
Hades, you are the father.
Makes the promise, and then obviously breaks the promise. But Uma does keep the ember, keeps it in her.
Yeah.
She keeps that.
In her womanly...
Her bosoms.
That's probably better than what I was going to say.
Oh.
They kind of just fuck around. They're wandering around looking for Ben, looking for people. This is where they go, Hannah turned to stone! Not Hannah.
Yeah, I am curious who the Hannah is.
They're inside of, I said castle, but I'm like, well, actually, no, it's not really a castle. That's too cool. They're just inside the academy.
Yeah.
And they go to a room with a bunch of suits of armor, and Audrey...
This is kind of a cool scene.
This is where we establish that Audrey is just hanging out in the fairy cottage with Chad.
Where she's able to, she's able to, peek in on him, Wizard of Oz.
Very threatening, of where she's just doing magic from afar, where she's like, hey, I'm going to make these knights fight you.
Yeah, and there's probably about a dozen of them, and they battle.
They keep filing in.
Another song here, I think.
This is called Night's Fall, but it's spelled like the time of day, not like the knight in armor.
K-N-I.
And the idea is both sides working together, but it's only for now, and only until Night's Fall, I guess. I don't know. This was actually pretty good, and Kenny Ortega took time travel notes from me where I said, I believe the song was It's Going Down or whatever.
I'm yelling Timber.
2, where they had this big group face-off. They sang, and then they fought for 5 minutes afterwards.
You wanted it combined, and
they did a good job. There's good fight choreography, dance
choreography,
choreography.
No,
I might even say this song's a bit of a banger.
Ooh.
Features Uma more prominently, and I think
Yeah.
she's a good singer, whatever the actress's name is. And I didn't feel like I really liked Say My Name or What's My Name that much in the last movie. But then there's a weird part where Mal just seems to overpower the magic with
And
Uma.
They all start making them dance.
Yeah.
They all make the knights dance. They all get up on like some table and I don't know, they're river dancing and then all the knights start to dance.
They do not river dance.
They do goofy like weird dances.
It's Zoomer dancing.
Yes. Some Fortnite dancing.
Yeah, they're flossing up there. They're teaching me how to Dougie. That's definitely not a Zoomer thing.
They tire them out by dancing. And then they all collapse.
They're already kind of dance fighting, but now they're
Yes.
just fully dancing.
Yeah.
And
it's fun.
yeah, it just fizzles out.
Yeah,
where they're like, well, that was cool.
No.
Aren't we the best of friends now? No, they still don't like each other.
No.
And Evie tries to get them to do icebreakers, but they're not having it. And then they split up. They split up boys and girls. And boys are just wandering around the woods for a while. And the girls go to, I don't know, where Evie and the other people live, where they discover Doug. Well, they discover Drizzy and Squirmy and Sucky or whatever sleeping. But then they discover Doug sleeping in her kind of atelier. I think that's how you say that. She's got kind of a studio where she's designing clothes.
So then she sings some Love's Kiss or...
what was this one called? One Kiss.
One Kiss.
My note says best song. As often is the case with Evie's songs, or Sophia Carson is the actress.
She does some dirty dancing over Little Douglas Lane there, and...
She picks him up and he's sleeping, but she kind of weakens that Bernie's him around.
Yeah.
And
Smooches.
Mal and Uma are looking on and kind of being like, just kiss him.
Yes.
It's not problematic that he's a guy who's sleeping and you're just going to kiss, right? We didn't make a whole big deal about kissing Snow White when she's sleeping or whatever, and like fucking Ralph breaks the internet or whatever that horse shit was. But she does kiss Doug at the end of the very good song.
He wakes up and then he pretends like he's sleeping still because he wants it again.
And I don't want to be mean to Doug, but something happened in between these movies.
Douglas, more like Fugless.
And I think the last one came out in 2018, so there's like, or maybe 2 years.
He turned into like
2017.
he turned into like a 40-year-old man.
I've seen some people compare him looking like Nicolas Cage, where he's got longer hair, but also I feel like his hairline's kind of receding.
Yeah.
I mean, hey,
we don't hate
those dwarf genes. Who knows what happens? They're not supposed to live or be this big.
Can't hate.
I mean, he gets the best girl, even though there's still plenty of times in this movie where it's like, I think, her and Mal are in love with each other.
They say they are.
Mal does say, I love you. So yeah, that's the best song, but then we have to cut back to the boys who find Ben in beast form. By the way, Dude Talking Dog is here. That's all we're going to say about that.
Beast form is cool.
I'm all about beast mode.
It's pretty
No, it's not cool. It's creepy. It looks like
it is creepy. That's
like
what I'm
the
looking
stage
for.
version of Cats when you used to see those commercials as kids all the time.
Like it doesn't
see cats, and I'm like, no, please stop.
Like it doesn't look like cheap. I don't know. I think it looks
it looks
good.
pretty cheap.
No, I think it looks good.
Well, he is kind of attacking them, but they discover, and he can't talk.
He's got a thorn in his paw, man.
Yeah. Oh,
so little Carlos, whose mother kills animals, wants to help the animal.
Yeah, and he takes the thorn out of his paw.
And then he goes,
and then Jane pops out of nowhere and starts hosing him down with some kind of squirt gun thing that I guess is filled with
from
water.
the Enchanted Lake.
Yeah, and we had seen her with it at the end.
We didn't know what it was.
Escape from her party scene. I'm like, what? That's not a wand, is it? Because the thing about Auradon is nothing's ever magic. So it's just like, oh yeah, here's this dumb squirt gun. So it turns him back into human form, but he still has
facial hair and teeth.
Yeah, and I guess the water only does so much.
You can't really talk normal anymore.
And like Carlos and Jane reconnect. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I missed your birthday." Well, I think it's technically still her birthday.
He gives her a present. What does he give her?
He gives her I think that happens later, but we'll just say it here. He gives her a necklace that says Jarlos.
Jarlos, the ship name.
They're taking whatever I assume Tumblr referred to them as. Yeah. And he says he made it with his 3D printer. Speaking of the magic of Auradon, we're all about that 3D printing technology.
Yeah. It was a fun little callback.
I'm like, a 3D printer couldn't fucking make that.
Yeah, the 3D printer was in the first one.
The second one.
Oh, just the second one?
Yes.
Because I remember they made a action figure or something, didn't they?
I mean, Jacob, you're apparently going in depth on the 3D printer history.
Well, it was yeah. They make some action figure.
He gets the wrong movie, and he doesn't even remember what they used it for.
What's the dopey guy?
Oh, you're remembering the joke about Chad Charming.
Yes, Chad Charming was making an action figure.
A fake replica, a fairy godmother's wand to give to Uma in the last movie.
Okay.
Good work, Jacob.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Lucas.
Everybody's reunited then.
And it feels so good.
And I say that after there's a brief moment where a bunch of boards start boarding up the
and they're
house
freaking out. They're like, fuck, we're going to get buried alive.
But then Uma and Mal are able to
combine
their powers of friendship, and then the boards just go down. I'm like, okay, cool. Super scary.
Yeah.
Really threatening Audrey, you just doing all these remote magic powers.
And then
the cottage.
Immediately after that, Ben shows up and everybody, shows up. And this one, they notice he still has his facial hair and his 2 teeth that make him talk funny.
And Mal knows how to bring down the mood because she says, oh, by the way,
I'm not going to let these little shits get off the island. Yeah.
She says, I know I told you we were going to continue the program, but actually we're going to shut the barrier forever. And everybody's rightfully pissed at her.
Yeah, I didn't.
Because even Ben, who's like, no, I don't want to do this. And everybody else is a villain who doesn't hate villains like Mal does.
Yeah.
Like, what is the threat? Hades? Just start using magic and Ordon.
That's your
Stop
damn
being a bunch
dad.
of pussies.
That's your dad.
Yeah, your mom's trapped in a freaking jar in your bedroom or something. So yeah, they kind of all fight, and this is where Evie's like, I trusted you, I love you. And I love our life here, and that's why we need to fuck him, because they're going to threaten our life. And then Harry Hook and Uma, they kind of walk off. Some other people walk, but then...
she gives her the ember now, right? And when she gives...
I don't know.
She gives out the ember, has it somehow, but
no, she doesn't actually give it to her yet.
Okay.
Or, I don't fucking know.
Who cares?
But Carlos... Jay, remember Jay? It doesn't matter basically any of these movies.
No, he's the guy from the Twilight movies.
I guess. Carlos, Jay, Evie, and Ben just get turned into stone.
Yeah.
But nobody else does. Audrey just is like, I'm going to do these people. So then Mal has a big emotional song called My Once Upon a Time, which is actually pretty good. And it goes on for a while, and then it goes on longer, and there's clips from all of the movies. Remember, all of their wonderful adventures.
The dragon from the first movie.
The dragon from the second movie.
Naturally.
Parts of, I think,
Uma.
maybe the movie, they show the scene at the very end of them turning to stone, which happened like 2 minutes earlier. They maybe also show her part where she turns into a dragon in the third movie. And by the way, she's going to turn into a dragon right now because she ends the song, which was good. At the school where she finds out that Celia, because she walked off, because she's like, you know what, I want to go back to the Isle, fuck you. And Audrey has her on top of the school, and then Mal turns into a dragon, but her powers aren't strong enough. So this is where Uma, she needs the ember, Uma gives it to her, and has maybe powered it up through the power of friendship or something, and they do kind of a Vegeta versus Goku battle of like the beams, where... It's not fire from her mouth as the dragon. She's holding the little ember in her little dragon claw and shooting it at Audrey, who's shooting out stuff from her staff.
Yeah.
And she defeats her, and Celia is fine, and Audrey now seems to be in a deep slumber.
Yes.
And this is where Jacob was also in a deep slumber.
Yeah, I was starting to doze off a little bit. Sleepy boy.
You wonder, all these movies that Jacob's like, this is pretty good, this was the best one. But he slept through parts.
No,
he wasn't really asleep. But yeah, she's asleep, and they can't wake her up. Everybody else seems to be awake or de-stoned, except for Gil. He's stoned off of berries.
Fucking Gil.
And they say, well, we need Hades, because... he can do twice what I can with the ember.
So they gotta bring in Hades in shackles, from the Isle of the Lost.
Which they pull him up in, not a limo, it's a straight up SUV.
Yeah.
Has, an Oradon guard license plate on it, but it's like, this shit sucks. I'm sounding like Jacob Telejohn here, but put more magic in
More
your
magic.
movie.
Yeah, they could have had him in like a
They don't even need to show him showing up in a fucking SUV.
No.
Just do more. But they have him in some basic handcuffs, and he's like, I need to free my hands to use the ember, I'm Hades. I'm all about using my hands for doing up close magic. So they free him.
What are you, Tom Cruise?
Exactly. And he does his thing. He doesn't do any treachery, which is very un-Hades.
Well, remember, he's just helping his daughter out, man.
Yeah, which is, Hades.
That's the power of love.
Well, yeah, they should have Megara, like Hercules and like Meg's, triplets in this movie.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah, Audrey wakes up and she's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, which is like, yeah, like, how are they going to paper this over? Because Audrey, she's arguably the most villainous person in these movies.
And
besides Mal, of course, who's the biggest villain in all of these movies. But she's just like, yeah, I was really jealous. And Mal's like, well, there's not much of the movie left, so you know what, you're forgiven. It's okay.
It's all good. Never happened.
And then Hades is being let out again, but he does another little magic trick where he hands the ember off to Mal, which doesn't really matter.
No.
But he didn't know what maybe was to come. So then there's probably the second or third engagement party for Mal and Ben, where the entire court is gathered. But Mal, as she often seems to do at these things, she's like, I can't marry you because I want to bring the barrier down and I need to be the queen of the land. Why do I keep saying
Land of the Lost?
The Isle of the Lost.
Land of the Lost.
Auradon. And Ben's like, well, you can do that. I don't know.
Yes.
And then she gives a big speech where it's like, we're all capable of being good and bad. And it's like, Mal, this isn't news to anybody else in this movie. This has been the fucking thesis since the beginning movie, which is that villains don't deserve to just be shoved on this island. They can be good too. But you're the one who every single movie is like, am I actually bad? I should go back to the Isle. Is everybody else actually bad? Fuck them. They stay on the Isle.
That's true.
And they're like, yeah, okay, the barrier's coming down.
So they take it down. Everybody dances across the candy cane bridge and unites.
I'm sorry, Jacob. They break this down.
With a dance, a song and dance.
So there's kind of like mirrored ports of Auradon and the Isle.
They're singing back and forth. Yeah. They're like rap battling.
Mal
duets.
And Uma kind of started off, but classic DCOM musical fashion. It's going to be a big group
dancing on the bridge.
Where there's
like
a
hundreds
fully
of people
formed bridge. It's not just a temporary magic.
And it's
bridge.
not just like like a couple hundred feet. I mean, it's like miles long.
Well, yeah, they didn't want those stinky villains too close to them.
The pores.
And so, they're dancing. It's fun. I don't know if it's like fun. The best group song in a DCOM ever.
We're all.
It doesn't have the weird,
together.
wet, splashy choreography from the end of the last movie.
Oh, when they're dancing on the boat in like a foot of water, everybody got hypothermia.
And the question is like, do they even go back to the Isle of the Lost? Do they renovate it, or do they just leave it behind? The song finishes actually kind of before I thought it was going to, but they also then got to add in not just classic Descendants fashion, but classic DCOM fashion of like, we got to pair up everybody. So Evie and Doug, they were already set up. Mal and Ben, well, they were also already set up. But Jay and Gil, they're going to go off on an adventure. And then Harry Hook tries to kiss Uma without her permission, and that's bad. But if it was somebody sleeping and they kissed them, then it's okay.
Acceptable.
And I don't know. There's some other stuff. And the song reprises. Everybody
You said you
walks
saw
out.
Aladdin at some point here,
We maybe saw Ariel.
We saw Ariel in the wheelchair. She's made an appearance every movie.
And then everybody has left except for our four main villain kids who say, basically they're waiting for their parents to come.
Yeah,
it's like, Mal, isn't your mom trapped like in your shoebox or something? And it's even like Jane is like, oh, I'm scared to meet your mom. It's like, why do you even say that? Because we don't see the parents again.
We do see Hades again.
We see Hades.
And he kind of like stares Ben down and kind of gives him like, I'm watching you, don't mess with my daughter.
I'm the god of the underworld.
Yeah. Like the worst.
How does that work in this universe? There's a literal god here. But Fairy Godmother, I guess, beats him out.
Godmother, yeah.
And
Mother of gods.
They say something, but then they just end that. We're rotten to the core.
Yeah.
Rotten to the core. core. And
that's the rear end.
That's the end of probably the Descendants franchise. Apparently when this aired, because I think this aired in like August 2019, and I'm surprised Jacob was so reserved in this episode when this is actually his final
Cameron
movie.
Boyce died.
That Cameron Boyce died, I believe, sometime in like July 2019.
Yeah.
So this aired with some kind of tribute to him. But this
We didn't
wasn't
see
like,
it in the movie. In
Yeah,
the
they
movie
didn't
we watched.
continue or keep it in for like home video release, probably. Well, they probably had something on the home video release, but like Disney Plus, they're like, fuck that.
So
We ain't getting any extra Skrilla from that.
R.I.P. Carlos.
That's, hey, Bob Iger, I know there's a lot coming your way right now.
Ooh.
You're making some mostly bad decisions, and I will caution you against making a really bad decision, which is making another Descendants movie. And not out of, like, respect for the dead or anything, as Mal says. I don't know. Fuck them.
Fuck them.
You know what I want to say? Please, no more Descendants movies.
No mas.
Unless they're, like, under 90 minutes, no more Descendants movies, please.
No,
Our dark chapter has ended.
We still have one more zombies movie, don't we?
We have 2 more zombies.
2 more zombies. Jesus.
And I don't, despite the fact that actually half of the cast of those movies is dead, ha ha ha.
Oh my.
Yeah, there could be more zombies movies. But we're talking about Descendants 3. Again, it's only shorter by like 5 minutes.
But that makes all the difference for Lucas.
But I think the
That's a
villain
3-star
in this
movie.
was actually a villain, really.
Yeah.
Even if, she's very one-dimensional.
Yeah.
The songs overall were better. They're better than the second movie, which was better than the first movie. And there was a little more stakes to this, but still plenty of fucking filler and bullshit because they like the Tumblr crowd probably are like, I want Jay and Gil to talk, but they're not gay because Disney can't make any of these characters gay.
No.
Yeah, so overall, best of the
Best
worst.
of the 3.
But still, probably an unpopular decision to say that this is the best. But that's what we're here about on a whole new
we
pod.
concurred on that.
Anything you want to add to that, Jacob?
Nothing too crazy. Yeah,
Are you rotten to the core?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a good wrap up of the of the franchise.
Yes, it would have been kind of weird if they ended and the Isle still existed.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they hint at the parents, so maybe like they were setting that up, like, oh, maybe the parents in the next one are evil.
Well, they are evil.
Well, I mean, like actually have bad intentions still, or
the next one is going to be like, well, shit, we just need to make a real prison now, and not just a prison island. And then they just put the prison on the Isle again.
That's true.
They're just there's just not a barrier this time. Now there's just a wall with like razor wire
Guards.
and searchlights on top. And you know what? We don't like magic, but you know what we do like? Guns. And we got a lot of guns.
Jesus. No, I thought it was a good wrap up. They're all united now and they can, live however they want to live. I don't know. I thought it was a good wrap up to a series.
All right. Well, wrapping up our email account, which is awholenewpod@gmail.com. We're going to retire it.
Oh.
No, it'll stay open, but you know what? Send me like your emails about like dick pill, like, the hot
enhancements.
Yeah, the hot discounts on dick enlargement pills. That's only what I want at that email account.
Follow us
pod@gmail.com.
Follow us on X.
Yeah. Well, before we get to that, never remember.
Oh yes.
Who?
Could Audrey have? Would Audrey have stopped or assisted?
Yeah.
She would have assisted, but they did stop Audrey.
Well, she didn't really work with anybody. She didn't even work with Chad.
No.
So.
Could Mal? I don't remember how we said the last couple.
Well, it's hard when we've had 3 movies now.
Magic.
I think last time we maybe said like Uma.
Oh yes, Uma would have assisted in the.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? They would have forgiven Al Qaeda. They're like, hey, you know what?
That's the power of friendship, man.
Let's bygones be bygones.
Yeah, we'll let you in. We're gonna let you into our country.
We're all rotten to the core.
Come into our country, yes.
I mean, there's complicated issues with like villains and heroes, and this movie just is like, hey, it's complicated that like during the Cold War, the U.S. Navy aided the Taliban in fighting against the Russians in Afghanistan.
So they hooked them up with those weapons of mass destruction.
All right, follow us on X.
X, yeah, formerly known as Twitter. Kind of still Twitter on
We're not alone in kind of talking about the long and really drawn out demise of Twitter, but
It's very odd.
it's definitely seeming to be getting more and more dire.
It's weird. I think Elon said his plans is he wants to turn it into like a banking platform, right?
Yeah, because
fucking weird.
Twitter definitely seems super secure.
Yeah, it's very odd. I don't know.
Last episode, we talked about the 24 hours where they said you can only look at so many tweets unless you pay us money. And that definitely seems like what I want to put all of my savings into.
Just what a downfall. But I'm sure Duddy will keep you posted there with our
AWN Pod.
Yes.
That's the handle there.
Yeah.
And we're kind of getting ahead of stuff because, well, we'll finish up wrapping up. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Google, not Stitcher, Spotify, as well as youtube.com/a whole new pod. Kind of been low on the numbers there, so maybe kind of juice us up. Send
us out to your friends, your family, your relatives, maybe watch it a few times.
What is this shit?
Yeah,
this isn't Descendants 3 in Espanol.
Spread it like dandelions, please.
Okay. Last time we teased the other flavor of the summer from our friends over at Mountain Dew, and this is Baja Caribbean Splash.
It looks really good.
By the way, this segment is a whole new pop. I don't know if I said that.
A whole new pop. It's like a
Jacob
pink.
is very in on, assessing this drink solely on how it looks.
It's like a pinkish, peachy.
It's kind of like a salmon
color. Hopefully it doesn't taste like salmon.
And it says it is dew with a blast of natural and artificial guava flavor.
You don't know what that means.
I'm sure I've had guava flavor in stuff, but I couldn't, if I had a taste test out of a set of things, could I tell you what guava tastes like? Probably not. Could I tell you what this tastes like? Bet it's going to be Mountain Dew. So
it usually is.
I'll serve us up.
What do you think it smells like? Good? Bad?
I mean,
burns
the only
the
one
nose.
that's ever smelled bad is flaming hot. So
yeah. Alrighty.
It'll be okay.
It smells like one we've had before. And maybe it smells like the last one we had.
Fuck this! Well, because it's still cut from the Baja.
It does kind of have a little bit of the
Baja sub-brand,
good kind of
so maybe that's like
to it.
the under. All right.
Are you ready?
3, 2, 1, fuck them.
That hits the lips very smooth. It goes down smooth.
I don't like that.
You don't like that?
No, I'm saying I don't like you saying it hits the lips very smooth. It puts the lotion on its skin.
Girls, it gets the holes
or else
again.
It gets the Baja blasting. Yeah, I think I like that more than the passion fruit.
The last one we had.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. One was. Yeah, again, I probably should, I really got to do my homework and drink normal Baja Blast so that I can compare it against these. But yeah, this is...
It's smooth.
I'd say this is the winning flavor of the summer. So
approved. What was it called again?
Baja Caribbean Splash.
Check it out. Give it a slurp.
Shout outs to Mountain Dew. Shout outs to PepsiCo. Shout outs to Yum Corporation.
Ooh, Yum Yum.
Or Yum Foods. I don't know what.
Yum Yum. Whole Yum Yum.
Yeah, so we're all over the place. Our minds are
got guava on the mind.
Radiated by the heat in this room. So we kind of wrapped up.
It's getting a little warm
already. So we're always on the cutting edge of everything, really.
Yeah. Technology.
Pop culture. Technology.
Fashion.
Audio quality.
Fashion is our passion.
Jacob really wanted us to go in deep on Grimace Shakes.
I did. I wanted to. I was kind of bummed I didn't get to talk about my experience.
So it only makes sense that, hey, have you heard of Barbenheimer? Barbenheimer!
Jesus.
What it do, guys? I'm back. I found my camera, so that means I can make more videos. And guess what's tomorrow? It's my birthday! That's why I'm wearing the crown. Because it's my birthday tomorrow. And basically, it's my birthday week. And we're making really, really yummy brownies for my classes tomorrow because everyone loves me and they obviously want me to bring stuff. I'm just kidding. Not everybody loves me, but we can just pretend. Alright? Okay. So it's my birthday tomorrow. Yeah, and I'm turning 17. Yeah. I look hot. Yeah. I got my hair kinda got new extensions. Yeah, important news. I'm having a party on Saturday for my birthday, so if you live in the Minnesota area and have me on MySpace, you should definitely message me. Yeah. Because if you're sweet and you're hot and you're cool, then you should definitely come to my party. But if you're ugly and you're weird, you can't. Well, maybe if you're weird, but if you're ugly, you can't. No uglies at my party. I mean, there could be an exception, like, maybe. Okay? But my birthday's tomorrow. And my birthday party's tomorrow, so yeah. I'm way too excited, and look at how cool my eye is. Yeah, I have like really bad camera problems, like focusing and staying in focus, but yeah, my birthday's tomorrow, so. Peace out, A-Town.